For a clearer understanding, let's turn to Ebenezer Obadare, the Douglas Dillon Senior Fellow for Africa Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations in Washington, D.C. Thanks so much for joining us, Ebenezer. You're very well positioned as a Nigerian academic living in the United States. And I'm just curious about your immediate first reaction when you came across those Donald Trump Truth Social posts saying that he might target Nigeria. What did you think to yourself?
So there were two posts. The first one, the one on Saturday, was about designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern. If you've been paying attention to the kind of mobilization that has been going on over the past few weeks, you will not be surprised by that. I expected it, I saw it coming, so I wasn't surprised when the president made the pronouncement. But the one that really caught me napping was the announcement by President Trump that he's considering taking unilateral action, military action against Nigeria. I find that surprising because I thought that insofar as the president has been correct in his diagnosis of the problem of jihadist terror in Nigeria, the solution that he appears to be leaning towards, which is going into Nigeria unilaterally without the imprimatur of the Nigerian authorities, is the wrong move and is bound to be counterproductive.
But he's saying that it's predominantly a targeting of Christians. Do you think that he knows that this is not actually the case? Because all experts that we've heard from in Nigeria say across the board religious groups are being targeted. And if he does know that what he's saying isn't true, what are his reasons for raising this rhetoric?
Thank you. So there are two dimensions to that. So let's take the first dimension. The president is not wrong to say that Christians are being targeted. There's plenty of evidence to support that. What is also true, the important word there being also, is that Muslims are also being targeted, non-believers are also being targeted, which leads us to the question, who is doing the targeting and why? The group that is doing the targeting is Boko Haram, whose name is Western Education is Forbidden, and is targeting both Christians and Muslims because it sees them as infidels. This is the point that I think many people tend to miss when they say Christians and Muslims are being targeted, hence the conflict is not religious. It is precisely because Christians and Muslims are being targeted that the crisis is religious. It's important to get that quality, that definition of the crisis right, in order to be able to have the correct policy approach to it. President Trump is half right about the emphasis on Christians being killed. The part that is not helpful is to say only Christians are being killed. Everyday Nigerians are being killed by Boko Haram, the jihadist group, for a religious purpose.
And it's not only Boko Haram insurgencies taking place throughout the country, but also even some farming groups with herders. And we see farmers versus herders across ethnic lines. And maybe that's something that the president is drawing from as well. But I don't suppose you can shed more light on that. But let me just ask you a second question here, because the Nigerian states themselves say that this might be a good way to bring the United States on board and help them with these insurgencies. Is that the correct strategy? Do you think that diplomacy can prevail here from Tinubu's government?
I think it's the correct strategy. So if you see the response of the Nigerian authorities, first the Minister of Foreign Affairs to the post on Saturday, and then President Tinubu himself, after President Trump threatened to go in on Sunday unilaterally. I think one thing that you notice about both responses is that it's been very restrained and it's been very conciliatory. And I like that about both responses. It suggests to me that all is not lost and that there's plenty of ground for diplomacy and that there is enough room here for accommodation. There is an agreement among senior government officials I've spoken to over the last few days that the Boko Haram insurgency has gotten out of hand, that it needs to be tackled. This is precisely the opportunity for the authorities in Washington and the authorities in Abuja to come together and do that. The United States going in unilaterally is the very opposite of getting that done.
So just a very quick answer to this. Do you expect US bombs to drop in Nigeria in the coming weeks?
So this is the way I think about it. President Trump has shown interest in the welfare of Nigerian Christians since his first term as president. He gave $500 million worth of military hardware to the Nigerian military to fight Boko Haram. He once confronted former President Buhari of Nigeria and asked him pointedly, why are you killing Nigerian Christians? So he has shown consistency in this matter. I will not be surprised. Let me put it this way. The probability of him doing exactly what you said is on the high side.
On the high side, Ebenezer Obadare, thank you so much for that outlook, saying that US bombs could actually, in fact, be on their way to Nigeria to help with the insurgency.